United States. I work here in Aranda as an English teacher at a primary school, Colegio Primaria, and I am from Washington, not Washington, D.C., but Washington State on the northwest side of the country. America is changing a lot from when I left, so when I come home it'll be a little bit different. So I'm really curious about the situation there. But today we're going to talk about Thanksgiving. Lisa, would you want to maybe turn off one of the lights? I think it's hard to see. Yeah, and then turn one of the back lights on. Yeah, is that better? Can everyone see that? We're good? Okay, if you can't see, now is the time to tell me because we're going to continue. So Thanksgiving is an American holiday. It's celebrated in other countries of the world as well, but I am going to talk about Thanksgiving in the United States. Oh, first, with these sheets of paper, there's some vocabulary here for you. There's also some spaces if you need to write words that you see on the presentation. You can write them here. And then afterwards, there will be time for questions. I can tell you what they mean if you have questions. And then at the end, we're going to have a short little quiz. If you want to, you can write some notes while the presentation is going. Okay, so Thanksgiving is a holiday in America that has been celebrated since the 1600s, since the 17th century. It began with the Pilgrims, a group of people who traveled from England to the United States in a boat. This boat is called the Mayflower, and they traveled to America to escape religious persecution. They wanted to practice their religion, called Puritanism, without the King of England worried about them. And they came to America about 400 years ago. When they got to America, when they arrived, they had very little food, and they did not know how to hunt or fish or how to get more food, how to grow vegetables. They didn't know anything about America. But luckily for them, the Indians, the Native American Indians, helped them. The Indians showed them how to hunt, how to get animals, how to fish and get shellfish out of the ocean. So the Pilgrims' survival was dependent upon the Indians. Without the Indians, the Pilgrims probably would have died. Oops. Sorry, I'll read it. This Indian, his name is Squanto. He is famous. He was a slave, but he was freed by some of the Pilgrims, and because of this, he helped them. He translated between the Pilgrims and the Wampanoag tribe, a tribe of Indians that lived where the Pilgrims were. Without Squanto's help, the Pilgrims would not have been able to communicate with the Indians. And so, in America, we are taught about Squanto in our schools because he was one of the first Indians whose story was written down who helped the Pilgrims and other early American settlers survive. And so, because of all this, after their first year, the first harvest that the Pilgrims had, they wanted to have a party, a celebration, to recognize Squanto and the other Indians for helping them. So they had the first Thanksgiving in 1621. And here is a list of some of the food that they ate, because it's different then. The food they ate at the first Thanksgiving is a little different than the food we eat for Thanksgiving now. I'm just going to read this. You have it written down in your vocabulary. Venison, which people eat often in the United States, was probably the main dish, the central dish for Thanksgiving dinner. Fowl, birds, which may have included a turkey, was probably on the side. There might not have been very many. They ate lots of berries and corn and nuts because these were staples. They were the main diet of the Native Americans. And also lots of fish and seafood. probably mostly venison, fish, and seafood with a little bit of the rest. So that was the first Thanksgiving, to celebrate the survival and the harvest of the Pilgrims after their first year in America. And so today, Thanksgiving is celebrated on the fourth Thursday in November. So it doesn't have a date like the 26th or 27th. It's just the fourth Thursday in November. And Americans come together at the dinner table to eat a meal and to say what they are thankful for. It's common for people to say thanks for their family, or thanks for the food on the plate, or thank you for having a job or their house, things that keep families together, keep people surviving. So today, these are some pictures of some families sitting around the table. We have the turkey, which is the centerpiece, the main dish at dinner, and it looks probably like what Christmas looks like here, with a family sitting together, eating together. And so, we are going to do the giving of thanks. So, like it says up there, I am thankful for is what people say at the beginning of Thanksgiving dinner. Before anyone eats, they give thanks. So, for example, people would say, I am thankful for the food on the table, or for the family at the table. And so this tradition of giving thanks is what sets Thanksgiving apart from all the other holidays. So what I want all of us to do is, in our rows, so we have one row here and row here, with your neighbors, people sitting next to you, I want to practice what you might be thankful for. So Allison, how about you give us an example? What might you be thankful for?
I am thankful for the opportunity to be in Spain.
Yeah. Lisa, what might you be thankful for?
I'm thankful to be able to be here listening to you.
Oh, thank you. So I'd like us to, in our groups with the people sitting next to you, practice. Tell each other what you might be thankful for. I am thankful for. And so with the people next to you, we'll take 3 or 4 minutes to do so.
I am thankful for being healthy. Yeah. For being healthy. She's not ill. She's healthy. She's not strong.
I'm thankful for my family.
Yeah.
I am thankful for my family.
Family too. Okay, I'm thankful for my family, of course, also because I work here and I have the opportunity to meet very nice people like you two, like the three of you. They were my students like last year, and now I am thankful I'm sitting next to you, and I feel thankful.
What are you thankful for?
I'm thankful because I have the opportunity to work here in the State School of Languages in Aranda, and I had the opportunity to teach Ivan and Elisa last year, and now sitting next to you.
I am thankful por estar cerca de mí. Estoy tratando de inglés. No, pero si hablando así más o menos despacio, te decías mucho, ¿eh?
Sí, sí,
Se
sí.
pilla mucho, ¿eh? Cuidado, ¿eh?
What are we thankful for?
I'm thankful for working here in Aranda and having the opportunity to meet lovely people, my lovely students,
Allá hermano.
and this gentleman here.
Allá hermano, ¿no?
Of course.
Of course.
Okay.
And I am thankful for my life.
your whole life?
I live I have no problem. No problem.
And you don't have big problems.
Yo soy un poeta, yo un filósofo, entonces me gusta decirlo eso. Pero no sé decirlo en inglés.
For having the ability to write,
Okay.
write poetry.
Let's
Many
see.
things I'm thankful for many things.
I know this might be scary, but does anyone want to share what they are thankful for? Any volunteers to try in English? I heard everyone speaking really well. Does anyone want to try and share? No. Okay. So, that is what we do in America before we eat. And after that, we eat a lot, and then we eat a lot more and more. Thanksgiving, I think, is when I eat the most out of the whole year. I eat more on Thanksgiving than any other holiday. And after Thanksgiving dinner, there always is American football on the television. So everyone goes from the table and they're very full, and then they go to the sofa, the couch, and they watch American football. And everyone is happy and tired and full. So, turkey, as I said, is the centerpiece of the meal. We have a live turkey and a cooked turkey. My turkey never looks as good as that turkey. There is one tradition in America with the turkey, and that the president, every year before Thanksgiving, he pardons a turkey. Pardon is a term when someone is a criminal or they're going to kill them. If you pardon them, you let them go. So he goes to a turkey farm, and one turkey in all of America gets set free and doesn't die, and no one eats it for Thanksgiving. It's called the Presidential Turkey Pardon. It's very official, and we do it every year. So here, if you can see, there's lots of food we have for Thanksgiving, and I'm just going to describe what we eat for Thanksgiving today. Here we have the turkey with gravy. It's the sauce that we put on it. It's very common, it might be hard to see, but we have mashed potatoes. Here we have a pumpkin pie with whipped cream on top. Everyone eats pumpkin pie for dessert. More pumpkin pie. There's some bread. As we say in America, those would be biscuits, but we'll learn in a little bit that's not what they say in England. This is stuffing. It's a mixture of bread and eggs and onions and other vegetables that they cook inside the turkey. So it has all the flavor of the turkey. I like to eat stuffing. I like it a lot. Okay, so we went from the first Thanksgiving, which was a harvest festival between the Native Americans and the Pilgrims 400 years ago. And now, Thanksgiving is something everyone celebrates on the fourth Thursday of November to give thanks for the harvest or for whatever they're giving thanks for. So it's a tradition in America that's lasted as long as America has. And I think it's one of our best holidays because it's non-religious, but it brings people together. So everyone in America can celebrate it because it's not religious. And instead of holidays like Halloween, which are not religious, where people go out and party, Thanksgiving brings families together without any religious connections because a lot of people in America aren't religious. Okay. So, does anyone have any questions or words that they want help with from the vocabulary? Do you have a question?
This year, what are you going to do for Thanksgiving?
Well, Thanksgiving is tomorrow, and I am going to cook a dinner. Probably not a turkey, because I think turkey is hard to find in Aranda. I might cook a chicken and invite some of my friends, and we'll have a Thanksgiving dinner here in Aranda. And I'm going to call my family and say hi, and I miss you, to all my mother and my father and my brother. So that'll be similar, and I'm going to teach all my friends how to give thanks before dinner. Has anyone here ever celebrated Thanksgiving? No? You have? Here or somewhere else?
I'm in California. I was exchange student with
Yeah, did you like it?
oh yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, Thanksgiving's a happy holiday.
I didn't understand. In the origin, why the pilgrims celebrate the Thanksgiving?
Because after their first harvest, la primera cosecha, they wanted to say thank you to the Indians, to the Native Americans, because without the Native Americans, they would have died. Because they didn't know how to grow food or hunt or fish or anything. Okay. So, on the bottom here, there are a few questions, basic questions about Thanksgiving, and so I have them here as well. And what I'd like you to do is try and answer them, and if you don't know the answers, maybe talk to the people next to you and ask them. This is part of the requirement of a language lecture, is that you have to think a little bit. So we're going to take 5 to 10 minutes, and I want everyone to try to write the answers to these questions, and if you don't know, ask me or ask someone else around you. Okay?
16 minutes.
Perfect. So 10 minutes, and then we can roll from there. I have to go over them too. I think between the last time I showed this, putting it on my thumb drive, some of the slides flipped harder. But I think we're just fine. Did it make sense?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Although I still don't really understand.
What?
I still don't understand Squanto.
Squanto?
Do you want to be in it?
Sure.
That way.
That's my phone, by the way.
Oh, perfect. No, I don't know if it's clear, but yes, Squanto, he was how they
He was
communicated.
a slave.
And they freed him, and he helped them. Like, there's a complicated story, because all the disease was brought over by the
Yeah, all
English.
these people died.
His entire tribe died, and so he was the only one that was left, and so he just decided to help them. So, I'm going to go through and ask people if they have questions. Do you want to do the same?
The first year.
Surprised because people speak English and help them with the language and also taught him to fish and by teaching them how to fish, by showing them how to fish and hunt. Describing career and also in here to sleep and then what do they eat? Beer? Fowl. No, es que las frambuesas, no. Berries. Eso, berries, fish, seafood also. Fowl es comida de hambre, o sea, tener pollo, sí, pollo, pernil, codorniz, pintada. When do you think very celebrate Thanksgiving Day?
Any questions? Here. If you want, I can show you up here the slides you missed.
Is it? Podemos poner stuffed turkey, que es pollo relleno, stuffed turkey, mashed
The
potatoes,
pilgrims
mashed potatoes,
were people who came from England
yeah,
to America in 1621.
pumpkin pie.
And when they got to America, they didn't know how to hunt or fish or get food, so they needed help from the Native Americans. So the first Thanksgiving, they said thank you to the Native Americans. They had a big dinner and invited all the Native Americans nearby to come and join them for dinner. So these are some historical images about Thanksgiving. It was a harvest festival para celebrar la cosecha. And so this was one of the, it was written down, so because back then many things weren't written, so that's why we remember because people wrote about it. And this Indian, Squanto, he translated between the Pilgrims and the Native American tribe. So without him helping them communicate, they wouldn't have been able to learn the things that they learned. So the Pilgrims wanted them to say thank you for letting us live, otherwise they would have left. So this is a list of the food that they had at their first Thanksgiving. It's also some of that is here as well.
Si te enseño lo que tiene que hacer la cantidad para los falsos amigos, como este pie que se hace cosas diferentes, tengo un montón de cosas acá. No, que he ido cogiendo yo.
So this is what the first dinner might have looked like.
Una palabra que te confunde.
The Pilgrims and the Wampanoag Indians came together and had a dinner.
Y es otra que no se parece
It lasted 3 days. They ate a lot of food. And then today, we celebrate America now like this.
Sí, yo tengo una, pero bueno, la iba haciendo yo solito.
Thanksgiving is celebrated the 4th Thursday of November, which is tomorrow. And before people eat, they say why they are thankful. So like, I'm thankful for my family, I'm thankful for the food I have. So then we practice.
Claro, vale que todo que igual que no que pronuncie, porque se pronuncia de forma diferente, pero bueno, ahí las tengo una cantidad de
Okay, one more minute to talk. Yeah, it's hot. Okay. We are going to go over the answers. I'll give all of you an opportunity to share if you want. So the first question, it's very simple. Who celebrated Thanksgiving? The first Thanksgiving. Who celebrated? Does anyone want to give an answer? Who? There were... Sorry, I'm looking at these questions. Who? There were two groups, the someone and the someone. The the Pilgrims and the Wampanoag Indians. That's the first answer here. Who celebrated Thanksgiving? Oh, sorry, I did miss that. Sorry, I missed it. And when was the first Thanksgiving celebrated? Sorry. Yes, and the third, how did Squanto help the pilgrims? He...
Translating.
Yes, Squanto translated. He translated between the Pilgrims and the Native Americans. Okay. And on the first Thanksgiving, what did they eat? Venison. Venison, fowl, corn, berries, fish, and seafood. Yes, and nuts. Okay. And now, today, when do Americans celebrate Thanksgiving? Yes. They celebrate the fourth Thursday of November. And what do we eat today? Turkey, yes. We eat turkey. What else? Pumpkin pie, yes. I love pumpkin pie. Anything else? Mashed potatoes. And a few other things like stuffing or cranberry sauce and bread and vegetables. And finally, the last question, what do Americans do before Thanksgiving dinner? Not quite. That's after. Before they eat, there's a ritual. Yeah, they give thanks. I'm going to write that up top. Before dinner, they, the Americans, give thanks. Just like we did. It's short and quick, but always before dinner. Okay. Does anyone have any more questions? Anything else? All right. So now we are going to switch and we're going to talk about the differences between English as spoken in the United States and English as spoken in England or Ireland, because Alison's from Ireland. Yeah. So we have another little activity we'll do afterwards. I'm going to hand it out.
Thank you. Thanks for it. I'm thankful for the photocopies.
Para todo. Llego a mi casa y le digo a mi madre, estoy agradecida por mi familia. porque no se las está aprendiendo.
There are 400 million native English speakers, and over half of these people live in the United States. And the English language originated in medieval England.
So one interesting thing to think about is that more than half of English speakers in the world are from the United States, and people say that the American accent is more clear than the British accent, but most people who learn English in a classroom are learning British English, which I don't know how much sense that makes, but it's what we do.
So there are differences between British English and American English, including pronunciation. So all of these words are the same, but we do not pronounce them differently. So we are going to pronounce them, and you're going to see why Andy pronounces them wrong. So I say garage.
My cars are in the garage.
I say renaissance.
Renaissance,
Vitamin.
vitamin,
Caramel.
caramel,
There's two A's. Water.
water,
Semi.
semi,
Mobile.
mobile,
Oregano.
oregano,
Leisure.
leisure,
Basil.
basil,
Route.
route,
Nissan, the type of car.
Nissan,
Data.
data,
Herb.
herb,
And my personal favourite, I had to put a picture of it, tomato.
tomato.
So as you can see, the words are the same, but we don't pronounce them the same. And in America, they often, in place of an S, they will put a Z. So I would say basil, but he says basil.
What?
Alison, can you read it everything again?
Yeah.
Compare it?
Garage,
Garage,
renaissance,
renaissance,
vitamin,
vitamin,
caramel,
caramel,
water,
water,
semi,
semi,
mobile,
mobile,
oregano,
oregano,
leisure,
leisure,
basil,
basil,
route,
route,
Nissan,
Nissan,
data,
data,
herb,
herb,
tomato.
tomato.
I love that one.
So there is one grammatical difference between the two Englishes, and is how you ask. I say, do you have?
Have you got?
Right, so if Allison had my baseball, I could say, Allison, do you have my baseball?
I have your baseball.
So it's that, and that is a difference between the two languages. And I am told, I don't speak English, but both of them work in British English. So you can say, do you have, or have you got, but do you have is very formal. However, in the United States, if you say, have you got, people will look at you like, have I got what? Did I go get it? So it's a little bit different. So for example, if we're talking about mail, this is a good example. I could say, Allison, do you have the mail?
I've got the mail.
And so that's kind of strange because to me, if I have got the mail, it means I went out to the mailbox and got the mail and brought it inside. It does not mean I have the mail in my hands. It means maybe earlier this morning I went out and got the mail. In American English, this got makes no sense because to us, get or got is like obtener, conseguir. It's not about having. It's not a thing you have in your hands. So it's a confusing thing, and I think most people learn this way in classrooms because they learn from a British English standpoint. And so if you go to America, we will understand both of them, but this one will be kind of confusing. It's just a simple way of saying it, like in Espanol. Tienes, there's only one verb, where here, there's two, in my perspective. To Allison, this is just one verb. So if you turn over the sheet we gave you to the back, there are some words, I'm going to do an example of one of them, that are, the vocabulary is different. So if you see where in British English, they say petrol, and in American English, we say gas. And if you're talking about the back of the car, in British English, they say boot, and we say trunk. So if I'm driving along with Allison and we're driving to Madrid, and then the car sputters out and dies, I could say, I think we're out of gas. Allison, would you go to the trunk of the car and see if there's another can of gas?
You want me to go to the boot to see if there's petrol?
Yes. Do we have any gas in the trunk of the car?
We have no petrol.
And so we can have these funny conversations where different pronunciations, different vocabulary, and one bit of different grammar between the two languages, or it's the same language, but between the two versions, but we understand each other just fine. Okay, I'm going to hand it over to Allison.
So this is an activity that looks at the vocabulary differences between British English and American English. And so it gives you the start. It will say, in the UK, we eat biscuits. And the answer for the American side is here.
Yes, or on the back of the sheet if you want a picture. So take a few minutes and fill this out, and we'll go over it together.
In the UK we wear trousers. In the United States we wear pants. Ay, no sé. Chips.
Chips.
Eso es tomar o tomar.
rubbish.
Okay, one more minute.
So we're going to correct it now. So number 1. In the UK, you eat biscuits.
In the US, you eat cookies. In the UK, you take a lift.
In the US, you take an elevator. In the UK, they go to the cinema.
In the US, we go to the movies. In the UK, you wear trousers.
In the US, you wear pants. In the UK, you go on holiday.
In the States, we go on vacation. In the UK, you put petrol in your car.
In the US, you put gas in your car. In the UK, you wear a jumper.
In the States, we wear sweaters. In the UK, you eat sweets.
In the US, you eat candy. In the UK, you eat chips.
In the States, we eat fries. French fries or fries. In the UK, you throw away the rubbish. Oh, no, in the UK, you eat crisps.
In the US, you eat chips. In the UK, you throw away the rubbish.
At home, we throw out the trash. In the UK, the back of the car is the boot.
In the US, the back of the car is the trunk.
So that concludes our presentation on Thanksgiving and on the differences between English. If you have any questions, feel free to come up and ask us, or anything you're interested in. Otherwise, that is all, and you are free to leave.
No sé si es igual, pero no te he visto
Paola, has hecho lo
Tú también te hizo la hora. En noviembre y 24.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Mucho calor, tengo que ir al agua. No va a ser posible.
Sí, anda, Rosa. Sí, ahora he acabado. O sea que en los últimos años siempre, ¿vale? Pero, ¿vale? ¿Has acabado tú ya? ¿Está bien? Gracias.